It has been a while since I have gone live. So yeah, how have things been? How have things been? Things have been good with me. Thank you all for joining me. There's no one here just yet, but anyway, thank you all for joining. Those that catch the live broadcast and those that catch the replay. So here I am. I am going to be going over a news story from ABC News that was posted today at 5:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time by Molly Nagel with ABC News. Yeah, so it's in reference to President Biden pardoning nearly 2,500 nonviolent drug offenders. And I just want to read a little bit of it and then give some commentary along the way, etc. Ah, yes, it has been a while since I have been doing these lives. Oh, it has been a while. It has been a while. Hello, Virginia. How are you? Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Like, who is this lady? It has been a long while. It has been a long while. Thanks for being here. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm on my phone. Stuff is just crazy. One of my laptop went away. I mean, not went away, but I need to get an adapter because I gave a whole bunch of adapter cords to my daughter when I gave her some monitors. I had just a whole lot of stuff. But yeah, how have you been? How's the weather down there in Texas? How have things been with you, Virginia, and the family? Yeah. So I'm using my laptop because I don't know how to do all this technological stuff. So I'm using my laptop to read the story. But yeah, here goes. It's about President Biden. Of course, he has a few days left for, I do believe, or 3 and some hours. And thank you for telling me that the sound is good. So he is, of course, doing a whole lot, as most presidents do when they depart office. They do a whole lot of things, mostly pardoning folks, etc. So this story from ABC News, dated this morning at 5:12 a.m. by Molly Nagel, is talking about his pardoning these folks. I'm just going to read a little bit of it or what have you. It said President Joe Biden has now issued more individual pardons and commutations than any president in history, announcing today, that he has pardoned nearly 2,500 nonviolent drug dealers. And it goes on in the story real briefly to speak about President Biden. Of course, most of us know that the 1994 crime bill, and there may have been one prior, and I heard that there was, but I'm not quite sure where he where he and others, well, he mostly, because it is called the Biden crime bill, instituted harsh laws that criminalize mostly people that share my reflection, mostly African Americans and others, but nonetheless African Americans, to these nonviolent drug offenses, harsh penalties for, and people would have, from what I understand, people would have a minimal amount of drugs on hand, etc. And they would get real harsh sentences for having a small amount of drugs, weed mostly, but it could be other items on hand. And now, of course, weed is legalized in most other states, etc. So maybe this is his trying to, in quotation marks, trying to right a wrong that he has done. But as the story goes on, it says individual pardons and computations. And we have to find out, the computation is just you're going to lessen the sentence that a person has. It doesn't mean that the person is going to get out of jail and you don't forgive them for the offense that they have done, etc. If it is the case that if they're actually pardoning people and some folks are going to be released from prison, etc., then that would be a good thing. But of course, the devil's is in the details. And if someone down the road, after they get, if this is the case where some of these 2,500 people actually got out of jail based on this, the pardoning part and computation part, etc., then that is a good thing. And if they show up on TV or something saying that, hey, President Biden, I was one of the 2,500 people that President Biden computated the sentence, and then I was released after that, then that would be a good thing, but who knows. But yeah. And of course, like I said, most presidents at the end of their presidency, they do pardon a whole lot of people, etc. The story goes on to say he did not provide additional details as to the exact number of people who would be affected by the clemency action, timelines involved, or any of the qualifying criteria used for accessing the pardons. And that first part is key. The exact number of people who would be affected by the clemency action, timelines involved, in case these people. Thank you so much for the $2 donation contribution. Thank you so much, Regina. I appreciate it. Didn't say what all that entails, which goes back to what I said prior. Will some of these people, even though they got a computation, a lessening of the sentence, will they actually find themselves out of prison for these disproportionately harsh sentences that he, via his law, instituted, and along with a whole lot of the other racial things that he said. It goes on to say today's clemency action provides relief for individuals who receive lengthy sentences based on discredited distinctions between crack and powder cocaine, as well as outdated sentencing enhancements for drug crimes, Biden wrote. In the 1980s, go back even before 1994. Hello, Tamika Davis. How are you? How are you? Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Tanique, sorry if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. In the 1980s, Biden supported several bills that increased penalties for drug users, including one that essentially lengthened sentences for crack cocaine users, predominantly African Americans, as compared to those convicted of using powder cocaine who are predominantly white. Of course, there's always the racial element and stuff. Hello, Files. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. So yes, during this time, African Americans that were using and maybe have been distributing cocaine, selling, etc., cocaine, crack cocaine, and just cocaine itself, were given harsher penalties than white folks that were just using powder cocaine. It's probably still going on today. I do believe that Biden did something with regards to that when he was president, but nothing substantial. But nonetheless, here we are. In my brain, this is Biden trying to throw out a little breadcrumbs with regards to the African American community. Say, hey, listen, I'm doing something over here for you. When way back in this reporting for me is saying 1980s when he was involved in eventually getting the 1994 crime bill enacted into law. Yeah. It goes on to say this action is an important step towards righting historic wrongs, correcting sentencing disparities, and providing deserving individuals the opportunity to return to their families. It is my hope that along with these with these pardons and these computations of sentences, that the actual release of the person from jail, and of course there has to be a whole lot of criteria with regards to that they're actually being released from jail, actually in fact does happen. Just commuting their sentence and lessening the sentence is great, because if they still, if they're still relatively young or have some time left and they can finish out their sentence and actually be released from jail, that is a great thing in of itself. But if this is something that can happen relatively quickly, like within the next 6 months or so, that the person actually gets out of jail and return to their families, etc., then that is a good thing. But let me continue. Let me start. This action is an important step towards righting historic wrongs, correcting sentencing disparities, and providing deserving individuals the opportunity to return to their families and communities. It is my hope. After spending far too much time behind bars, he said, with no direct mention of his prior record. Of course not. And that is where the devil is in the details. People need to be in the know as to what happened prior, because they would just read that and say, well, it's my hope that with no direct mention of his prior record. Well, what was his prior record? Yes, President Biden. What was his prior record with regards to this? And then if they go back and dig far enough, they will find that the 1994 crime bill, also called the Biden crime bill, he was the ringleader, in my opinion, with regards to getting these harsh penalties instituted with regards to the African American community. Yes. He also acknowledged that decision was set a historic precedence. And I also into, as a lot of them do, a lot of presidents do. Their legacy chasing, like this is going to be a part of my legacy. And it goes on to say, because this is the thing that was important to him. With this action, I have now issued more individual pardons and computations than any president in U.S. history, Biden said in the statement. Once again, legacy chasing, putting some good points up on the board with regards to his political legacy, if it were. So yeah, as always, the devil is in the details, and sometimes we have to go back and or remind the young folks, maybe our children and or our grandchildren, of what is all of this talk about Biden and Biden crime bill, et cetera, because in their life, if they've been paying attention or may have not been paying attention, they don't know what happened prior. And if there's no one to tell them that, hey, this is what happened and this is why a whole lot of black men found themselves in jail, I'm not taking away from what it is that they did, but with regards to just the racial component, what black men, the sentencing that black men receive versus the sentencing that white men receive, maybe even for crack and heroin. But we know that, I think at the time, who knows what all, that white people predominantly used the powder, cocaine, etc., and they were given a lesser sentence. Yes, education is key. We got to be in the know with regards to these things. Yeah, that was pretty much it with regards to this story. I just found it interesting. Of course, like I mentioned, I did a cash stuffing Finance Friday, and I mentioned about, of course, as we know, the inauguration is happening on Monday. And if you're coming here, please be careful. Always be careful. Keep your head on the swivel. Be aware of your surroundings. Of course, everything is political, and who knows who's going to be out here wanting to do something that is not nice. And this can happen at any time. So just be safe at all times if you're coming here, and even if you're not. And if you're going to, if you're hosting something at your home, be careful. Things may get out of control. It's my hope that if you share the same political thoughts, ideology, maybe not in total, but to a good degree with regards to the person that's coming into office, that you have like-minded people coming to your home to where there's not going to be an issue. So if you're inviting someone to your house that's on the other side, and then you guys are talking about all the good things about incoming President Trump, and of course he was former President Trump, still President Trump, then that may cause a problem or something, and you don't want that in your life. You don't want that in their life. So what else is going on? I'm just going to sit here and try to chat just off the top of the dome. Yes, and it's also, thank you, Regina, it's also Martin Luther King's Jr. birthday, the holiday, Monday also, and too. So lots is going to be going on. And a lot of people during the Obama presidency, and it may have happened prior to that, to where they were saying that that day is a day of service, not a day off, but a day on. So, people will go and volunteer, because it's a day off. It's a federal holiday, so people are off, and they may want to do something for the community, etc. Yeah, so not a day off, but a day on. Do some type of act of service to the community. Whew. 2024 has been, I think, interesting for a lot of people. Trust and believe that a lot of things. I'm talking with regards to jobs and that type of thing, etc. What's going to change, and what's going to change in your life or my life, etc. If there's going to be some type of change, we have to make that change. We know that your job, my job, anyone's job, it may go away today or tomorrow. So we have to make sure that we are doing all the things that are going to set us up for success with regards to our money when the day or the time comes. It's not a matter of if, but just when, because when is everything going to crumble? When is everything going to fall down? When am I going to lose my job? When are my hours going to be cut back? When is my job going to go overseas? When is my job going to move to another place and I don't want to follow my job to that new place? All of those type of things. Yes. Stay ready at all times. Stay if you're. Well, how does that saying go? If you're ready, you don't have to get ready. Something or another to that effect. So yeah, we always have to be conscious and trying to get a different mindset with regards to money. And even myself, I mean, mine is almost there. It's pretty steady, but I have moments also in too to I fall off the wagon, but I have to get myself back up on there because no one is going to save you. No one is going to save you. You can have friends, family that will help, like I've mentioned numerous times before, for a moment or two where they can and how they can. And sometimes it may not be what you need. And if it's just you, it's a different thing. But if you're, having children also and two that's coming along with that, then that may be a bridge too far for some of our family members. Yes. Yes, that stocking up is a good thing. Stocking up on food supplies in advance and a whole host of other things for emergencies that happen that are natural. Some of the things that I mentioned and talked about before. So yeah, just try to get into the mindset of being prepared, little by little. Just start doing little things. If you're trying to get that emergency bag or kit, etc., stocked up, then you can go to the dollar store with the batteries and the flashlights, those type of things, even the canned goods, etc. Maybe every time you get paid, make a list, so that'll be helpful. Just make a list and say how many, bottles of water do I need, how many canned goods of beans, and make sure you get food that you and your children like. Make sure that you do that. And just make a list. So you want to get 10 things of beans. So maybe every pay period, you go to the $1.25 store and you get 2 cans of beans until you get the 10, etc. And I highly suggest, because I get off track if I don't have a list, and sometimes I get off track. But having a list is a good thing also too, so that you don't get off track and you don't overspend also too. But yeah, you got to stay ready. You got to stay ready at all times. The jobs are not promised. We saw lots of layoffs last year. Trust and believe that is going to continue to happen. Hello, Joshua Gabriel. How are you? How are you? Hopefully things are good for you. I don't know whether you're still in Jersey, New York, or you moved to Jersey, or you're in Jersey and whatever's going on. But good seeing you, Josh. Good seeing you, Josh. Thanks for being here. Yeah, the jobs. Yeah. Got to be very careful. You have to do a whole lot of your regular job, 2 and 3 side hustles, etc. Yeah, the economy is crazy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. What I was going to say is, at the incoming administration, you don't know what's going to happen with that because he's been talking about tariffs, and I get it. It's a negotiation piece, trying to get people to come alongside, so I don't have to, drop the hammer on you. Yes. But we don't know how that is going to fare out. So if there is something that you like, and he's talking about a particular something that you like in a country, and he's talking about, well, I'm going to, put a tariff on of so much percentage with regards to this particular country, and you like their olive oil, or you like a particular pasta or something, like, oh, she's talking about Italy. No, hopefully not. Then try to get that thing more sooner than later if they have it at any of these international stores that they have in most communities. So, yeah. You move to the Bronx, or you're gonna by winter, by winter or spring for your new apartment. Okay, great. All right. Seems that those things are going okay for you, Joshua. Good. Happy New Year to you too. What, Joshua? Yeah, it is a new year. New year, new me, new you, new everything. So yeah, those goals too. So yeah, if one of your goals is to, stock up on your supplies, the emergency supplies and your food related supplies and all of that type of stuff, then go and get your list together and start stocking up on those things so that you can have something. Also, of course, an emergency fund of $1,000, but we know that the emergency fund goes beyond the $1,000. Of course, it means having most people say 6 or more months of money saved up to where you can cover all of your bills in case something happened to your job and or your wife's job or both of your jobs at the same time. And you can cover it, of course, if you have children, then that's also one too. Shaky baby, hello, how are you? Thanks for coming in. How are you and Aiden doing? I see Regina mentioned Shaky baby, so that's why I'm. Oh yeah, there you are. Good morning, Shaky. There you are. Got it. This phone, I don't like this thing because I got 4 eyes already. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for how is Aiden doing? Shaky, if you're still here, hopefully he's doing good. Hopefully he's doing good. But yeah, take care of yourself and your family. Take care of yourself and your family. And of course, as always, don't depend on anyone. Of course, if we need help, then of course, hopefully that person will not be so humble and have so much pride that they don't ask for help. Do that. And of course, as I have mentioned before, your state, if you are working, they are taking taxes from you in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Of course, we know that there's a sales tax for, but state taxes for those states that do have one. Then definitely go down there to request services, whatever it is that you need, because you have paid taxes into your state government, and if they have some service that you need, don't be humble, don't have so much pride that you don't go down there and request those particular services if you need those. Thank you so much, Virginia, for dropping my link in there. Thank you so much for dropping my link. I do appreciate it. So yeah, I think that's about it. That's about it. And for the folks that may have arrived late, I was just talking about Biden, a news story that I saw this morning from ABC News, written at 5:12 this morning about President Biden pardoning nearly 2,500 nonviolent drug offenders. So that is in effect. And like I was mentioning, it is my hope that that the folks that he pardoned, that some of these folks actually get released from jail, / prison, etc. And yeah, it says pardon computations. Computation is you just reduce the sentence, but you don't say that you don't forgive the offense or the thing that the person did. But it's my hope that some of these folks actually do get released from prison if the computation of their sentence, brings them to 0, that type of thing. Yeah. So I am going to get off of this live and get on about my day. Thank you all so much for being here. I do appreciate it. Take care. Thank you so much, Tamika, Shaky, Regina. As always, thank you so much for being here. Joshua, I think, Tanique. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Shaky, I do appreciate you all being here. Yeah, I'm going to try to do more lives. People always say that. Bud Files, thanks so much. Or Files, thanks so much for being here. I do appreciate it. And, of course, thanks for the donation, Regina. Thanks for the donation. I call it a donation. Is that what they call it? Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Take care, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.